can you compare the ability to grow or scale the various options? So yes, but let's do it at a high level, Jesse. So I'll let you do P&D and line haul. Just kind of talk through scale quickly, and then I'll say the same for Amazon and bread.
Yeah. So there's really, I say this kind of with an asterisk, but there really is no limit to how big you can grow and scale with P&D and line haul. I mean, we've known contractors that have upwards of 150 routes. There's some that only have 5. And it really depends on how big you want to get. And I will say, to kind of dovetailing into the question about, what's the hours commitment per week? Ironically, one way that you can cut down your weekly hours is to scale up to the point where, as Josh mentioned earlier, you get those economies of scale in your business. You get management that can handle, multiple terminals and stuff like that, where you have different businesses. You can truly be hands off at that point with all but just a very minimal input every single week. And, that's really how you would want to do it if you're going to be remote on the P&D side. On the line haul side, your ability to scale is going to be based on a couple of things. So, you can buy, so the inorganic growth, you can buy more runs. You can always do that. Or you can just build up a good schedule or a good record of what we call availability. So basically not taking declines on runs that you're contracted to service, having a good safety score, building up your reputation within the industry, within FedEx. They will start to notice you. And so what will happen is there's a couple ways you can grow organically. Number one is you can bid on more runs. So you can basically use your tractor's good availability score to say, hey, I've got a good, reliable track record here. I want to upgrade this run and use this tractor on another even better, more profitable run. And you can do that. The other way is FedEx will just offer you more runs. And if you have the ability, again, to put a driver in a seat, you will be able to just automatically grow and get that revenue. A lot of those situations, they don't always turn into guaranteed revenue, but for all intents and purposes, even though they don't appear on your contract, it's sort of a double-edged sword, right? It's not that they're it's not good that they're not on your contract from a sense of you're not making points, you're not building an availability score, but you also don't have any penalty if you don't service. So it's sort of, you're getting sort of revenue with no strings attached to it. So those are kind of the two ways you can grow on the lineups.
Yeah. And so, and also just the upper limits for each P&D will have a limit at the terminal level where you can't be more than a certain percentage of that terminal, but you can keep growing into all the other terminals. And line haul will have a limit at the district level where you can only be up to 15 runs in a district, but there's 26 districts in the country, and 15 runs is already a pretty large line haul operation. So there's a lot of room to continue to grow there. On the Amazon side, for the most part, most people are still only one contract. There was a time where Amazon allowed people to grow to, really large, and then they've scaled that back some, and they decided for a while they weren't going to let anyone grow above one contract. They've kind of relaxed there as well now. So we're starting to see Amazon allow multiple operations again in different areas. And really, it's going to be based on your track record and if you can prove that you could operate out of multiple areas. Because like I said, for Amazon, a lot of what they care about is knowing that you are there to operate the business. So if you can prove that you can run multiple, the other thing too is that you will be able to grow within your area. And there's I've seen contractors get much larger at a one area size than they do on FedEx. I've seen people get up to 60, 70 routes on the Amazon side in a single area, which is significantly larger than you would ever see in a single terminal for FedEx. So while you may only be one area, you can still get very large, up into the $3-4 million of revenue in a single contract for Amazon. And then for bread, again, growth is going to be a function of if in your route, if you're adding more stops, or if you're doing more sales at those stops, that's all additional revenue to you. And if you get to the point where you can't fulfill it all with one truck, then you can move to add a second route, add a second driver, and work in that way too. You can also always buy additional contracts in the same way. There's no scale limits there. It's all about your area and how much you're capable of doing. And as long as you're capable of doing it, there's no stopping you or slowing you down there.